Episode 1: Introduction and Origins. The grand story of the Mahabharata begins in the ancient kingdom of Hastinapura, a kingdom of great wealth, power, and honor. This kingdom was ruled by the wise and valiant King Shantanu, a ruler loved by his people for his fairness and bravery. Under his reign, the kingdom prospered, and its fame spread far and wide. Yet, for all his wealth and glory, King Shantanu was a lonely man, for he had no heir to continue his lineage. One day, while riding along the banks of the sacred river Ganga, King Shantanu saw a woman of extraordinary beauty. She was none other than the goddess Ganga herself, who had taken human form. Mesmerized by her grace and charm, Shantanu was struck by love at first sight. He approached her and, unable to contain his admiration, asked for her hand in marriage. Ganga, smiling gently, agreed, but on one strict condition: Shantanu must never question her actions, no matter how strange or cruel they might appear. Blinded by love and eager to make her his queen, Shantanu agreed without hesitation. The couple lived happily, and soon Ganga bore Shantanu a son. However, to Shantanu's utter shock and horror, Ganga took the newborn to the river and drowned him without a word. Helpless and heartbroken, Shantanu remembered his promise and said nothing. Over time, Ganga bore him 6 more sons, and each time she drowned the child in the river as soon as it was born. Shantanu was filled with grief, but remained silent, bound by his promise. When Ganga gave birth to their 8th child, Shantanu could no longer bear the agony. As Ganga approached the river to drown the child, Shantanu's love for his son overcame his vow of silence. He pleaded with Ganga to spare the child's life and demanded to know why she was committing such a terrible act. At this, Ganga, with tears in her eyes, revealed her true identity and the reason for her actions. The children she bore were not ordinary human beings, but the 8 Vasis, divine beings who had been cursed to be born on earth due to a misdeed they had committed. Ganga was releasing them from their mortal existence, allowing them to return to their celestial abode. But since Shantanu had broken his promise, she could not release the 8th child. Instead, she would leave him with Shantanu to be raised as a human. With these words, Ganga vanished, taking the child with her, promising to return him to Shantanu after he had been suitably trained and prepared for the world. King Shantanu was left heartbroken, longing for his lost love and the child he had never held. Years passed, and true to her word, Ganga returned to Shantanu with their son, now grown into a handsome and powerful young man named Devavrata. Ganga had taken him to the heavenly realms, where he was taught by the wisest sages and the greatest warriors. Devavrata had mastered the Vedas, the art of warfare, and every skill a prince needed to rule justly and fight bravely. Shantanu was overjoyed to be reunited with his son. He declared Devavrata the crown prince of Hastinapura, and the kingdom rejoiced, confident that their future was in the hands of a capable and noble leader. Devavrata, too, swore to serve his father and the kingdom with utmost loyalty and dedication. However, fate had more trials in store for the Kuru dynasty. Years later, while hunting near the river Yamuna, Shantanu encountered a young fisherwoman of unmatched beauty named Satyavati. He was smitten once again and desired to marry her. But Satyavati's father, a simple fisherman, had one condition: the son born of this union must inherit the throne of Hastinapura. Shantanu was torn. He loved Satyavati, but he had already declared Devavrata as his heir. Distraught, he returned to the palace, unable to choose between his love for Satyavati and his duty to his son. Devavrata noticed his father's sorrow and, after learning the cause, took it upon himself to resolve the dilemma. He approached Satyavati's father and made a vow that would change the course of history. He renounced his claim to the throne of Hastinapura, ensuring that Satyavati's son would inherit the kingdom. But this was not enough to convince the fisherman, who feared that Devavrata's children might challenge his descendants in the future. In response, Devavrata made an even more extraordinary vow. He would never marry and would remain celibate for life, sacrificing his lineage for the sake of his father's happiness. This vow was so severe and unbreakable that the gods themselves applauded his sacrifice, bestowing upon him the name Bhishma, meaning one who has taken a terrible vow. The gods also granted him the boon of choosing the time of his death, making him invincible until he wished otherwise. Bhishma's vow secured the future of the Kuru dynasty, but it also set the stage for the conflicts and tragedies that would later unfold. Satyavati married Shantanu, and their union would give birth to two sons, Chitrangada and Vichitravirya, continuing the Kuru lineage. Yet, the echoes of Bhishma's vow would resonate through the generations, leading to the epic conflict that would one day consume the entire dynasty. As the episode closes, we reflect on Bhishma's incredible sacrifice, the love that inspired it, and the heavy price that would be paid by the Kuru dynasty in the years to come. This sets the stage for the epic tale of duty, honor, and destiny that is the Mahabharata. This story for the first episode introduces the key characters and events that set the stage for the epic Mahabharata, focusing on the origins of the Kuru dynasty and Bhishma's pivotal role in its history.